guys, welcome to ET Land. So if you have been looking at the gaming handheld market, it has been crazy within this month. We see that there are many announcements and releases of Android handhelds as well as Windows handhelds. And it is very difficult for us as customers to choose a particular one. Today I'm going to do a 2-month review of ROG Ally, and I hope that I can give you a better insight of what to choose. And if you are looking at Windows handheld or ROG Ally in particular, I hope that this video will help you. I know that there has been many issues about the SD card issue, the BIOS update and stuff like that, so I'm also going to talk about that a little bit in my video. This video is not sponsored or anything. I bought my ROG Ally on my own money, so I can promise you that I will be super honest on it. So without further saying, let's go into the video. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the control of ROG Ally. In my initial review of this gaming handheld, I actually did my video on a perspective based on a person who has small hands. I just want to do a little update on it because I have more time to play more games. And generally speaking, I do not have any problem with the buttons. There are reports saying that the buttons may stick a little bit, but it didn't happen on my unit at all. All the buttons are feeling very good and I can reach all those buttons. Even, for example, for me to play Monster Hunters and stuff, RPGs and stuff like that, I don't have any problems, and I do not play fighting games, so I may not be able to represent someone who loves to play fighting games. And I also play a lot rhythm games, for example Moose Dash, and I have no problem with that. But I think this is generally because my hands are too small. The left joystick is a little bit difficult to reach if you want to play Monster Hunter very precisely. So whenever I want to reach the left joystick, I actually touch the bottom edge of the joystick instead of putting my whole thumb on it. It's not that I can't do that, but I just do not feel very comfortable, and I just instantly move my thumb to the bottom edge of my joystick, and it makes my joystick cap fall off every time, and I really have no solution to that. Because the right joystick is located lower in the position in comparison of the left joystick, I do not have any problem reaching it and using it. It's just very comfortable. So I think it would be great if they can move the left joystick a little bit further to the bottom or even swap the position, but I'm okay for like either way. But I just really hope that they can move it like 0.5 cm to the bottom. It would be a lot easier to me. I still think it is reachable and usable, it's just not perfect. The second thing I want to talk about is the sound of ROG Ally. I have to say the sound quality of ROG Ally is supreme. So my previous PC handheld was INL Air, and it is notorious that the sound quality of INL Air is not good. When I switched to ROG Ally, that was a significant change. I never thought that a PC handheld could sound that good. The higher tones are very crispy and the lower tones are very deep. In terms of surround sound, it also gives a good amount of intensity that can let you feel the surround sounds of the games, so it will make the game even more enjoyable when you use these two speakers. Because they are located on the front of the handheld, your ears are very easy to catch all the sounds from the speakers, and it is a good design because magically your hands are not going to cover the speakers. I think those speakers are very good, and it is one of the things that I really love. However, the software Dolby Access, which is pre-installed on ROG Ally, was not very good. What I'm saying is that it actually made some games do not sound properly, or maybe there are some kind of glitching sounds, and sometimes it's just not on phase because of the settings of this Dolby Access. And at the beginning, I thought there was something wrong with my speakers, and I looked it up and I found that it was actually because of this software, and I had to turn off all the settings of this software. After I turned off all the settings, everything is just fine, working fine, sound quality is fine. So I have never turned it on again, and I think there was no update for that. So I'm not going to use it. And if you have any problems with your speakers, I think it is worth trying to turn off the settings of this Dolby Access. Next, I'm going to talk about SD card slot. If you have been following my channel, you'll probably watched my previous video talking about how to prevent the failure for SD card slot readers and stuff like that. And I have been doing that ever since I received my ROG Ally, and so far I have never experienced any problem with my SD card reader. So if you want to know more about how to prevent these problems and what is the potential causes of the failure of ROG Ally's SD card reader, I suggest you to go watch that video. And I'm happy to say that it works for me, and I still haven't experienced any problem with my SD card reader. However, I do know that some of my viewers have the problem with the SD card reader and has to send it back for repair. Luckily, he doesn't have any problem after the repair, but I do think that it is very important for us to still be very careful with the usage of SD card reader, because the fix from Asus is not released yet. So I think it would be better for us to be careful. I saw someone say that never use it, you should better avoid using it, but I think as long as you are careful enough and be very aware of the potential causes of this problem, then you are good to go. And based on some comments, DMs, and Reddit posts, Discord posts that I've read, the 1TB A2 card seems to fail easily, and the A1 card, which is I'm using, is very stable. So if you haven't bought a card and you're really desperate to buy a 1TB card, then I suggest you to buy a 1TB card that is in the older version with A1 written on it. And I am using SanDisk card. I also heard that the Samsung card is not very compatible, so you may want to do more research before you buy a SD card. Next, you may see many videos talking about BIOS update, because some of the people who are really into AAA games would see the difference of BIOS update. And for example, if you are playing some higher end emulation, you may also notice some kind of differences. But if you are not a player who always use the highest settings on the games and not playing AAA games all the time, then those BIOS may not really be relevant to you at all, because lower end games just do not use the whole potential of this device. And to me, even though I play emulations like on Yuzu and Ryujin's, I do not experience a high level of changes based on every BIOS update. So I think it really depends on what kind of games you want to play, but for me, I do not have a big impact by the BIOS update. Okay, the last point I want to talk about is portability. I really used to hate large handhelds because I just typically do not like things being too big and too heavy, and I really wondered if I would love my ROG Ally because of its weight. It is over 600 grams, but surprisingly, because of the balance of the weight is done very well, I do not feel that it is heavy at all, and the grip as well as the finish at the back of ROG Ally is done wonderfully, so I don't have any problem holding it for a long time or an extended gameplay. However, from my last video, I was having problem to find a carrying case for my ROG Ally, and I found one. It was actually for the Nintendo Switch with Hori split pad, but it fits my ROG Ally perfectly, so I bought my ROG Ally to a business trip with me 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was a lot fun, and I didn't expect that I would ever try to bring such a big handheld outside, but yeah, in terms of portability, there is no problem. If I am just going out for a few hours and I expect myself only have like 20 minutes of waiting time outside, for example waiting for food or waiting for bus, whatever, I would prefer bringing my 2DS LL, because well, if you bring such a big device, you're expecting yourself to play some more intense games or more detailed PC games. You know, if you just have 20 minutes, I think 3DS, stuff like that, easier, but can also handle some retro gamings, and 3DS games will be more than enough for me. So, if I'm going out for a short period of time, I still prefer a smaller device. To sum up, I really enjoy my ROG Ally for these 2 months, and I am still keeping it. I love it, and I don't think I would invest in any PC handheld for the time being, at least for 2 years maybe, because it really plays everything I put on it. My biggest drawback of this device is the place of the left joystick, because it is a little bit too high for me. It is not non-reachable, but I just wish that it could goes a little bit towards the bottom. Still, I would bring it with me if I am staying outside for a night or going on a trip, whatever. But if I do not really have time, I don't think I would bring it with me. I think that's pretty much about my 2 month review, and I hope that it kind of helped you to get an insight of what it is like of having an ROG Ally. Last but not least, I want to talk about my thoughts on getting an all-in-one gaming handheld. I've been dreaming of getting a handheld that can handle all the things for me since 2020, and it has been a few years. I have been trying to look for something that can handle it. I tried Android handhelds, I modded my 2DS, my Switch, I tried other Windows handheld, but they never really reach my expectation because of the limitations of their function, performance, the weight, other subtle things like fan noise, like the heat dissipation, quality issues, stuff like that. But this handheld ROG Ally really made me think that I found the one that I've been looking for. Of course, the battery life is not perfect. You probably get like 1 hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours of gameplay, depends on what you're playing. But do you really have that much of time? And if you have time, you'll probably be able to access to a charger and you will be good to go. To me, I think the only system that can support all platforms of games is Windows. It is very hard to argue against that. I know there are more options of emulators and stuff like that on Android and Linux, but the compatibility issues, the heat dissipation issues on both devices would be very difficult to handle. On Windows, you do not have to care about the compatibility issues, and especially on Android, if you want to use user to emulate, you will face a lot of heat issues that do not happen at the same level on Windows handheld. In the beginning of this video, I talk about there are many releases and announcements of new Android handhelds and Windows handhelds. And here comes to a question I always have to myself. Of course, they look very interesting and they sound very powerful, but do you need that many handhelds? If you have one handheld that can fit all your needs, do you really need two powerful systems that have many overlappings? Does that really make sense? Of course, if it is for collection purpose or just for your own hobbies, interests, there is no doubt that you can buy it and it is all your free will. But if you have to choose, I think one Windows handheld plus one supplementary handheld that you can bring outside, very portable, very lightweight, and can kill like 20 minutes of your time, that's pretty much enough. You do not have to buy a super strong handheld to do all the stuff which you can already done with your other handheld. So that's pretty much about my 2 months reviews on ROG Ally, and I have to give a special thank to Mikel and Lin. Thank you for being my two precious members on Ko-fi.com. I have been working on updating Ko-fi.com. I have a page on that, and I will put more content regarding emulations, moddings, and PC handhelds. Sorry that I couldn't update that regularly, but I will try my best to keep up with the update. Your support to this channel is very much appreciated because your support will help me to develop this channel further and to help me to buy more devices and software that I can use on this channel and to reward back to you. So once again, if you are watching till the end at this point, I am very happy that you are still here with me. And that's pretty much for this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!